Tennessee, where the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series should be about 17 minutes into qualifying for tomorrow night's 500-lapper here at the world's fastest half mile. But as you can see, a thunderstorm closing in on the speedway, preceded by a pretty heavy dose of rain that has already dropped onto this racetrack, has put qualifying into a holding pattern for the moment. Drivers and teams waiting out the weather, seeing if they will have an opportunity to time trial to set their starting order for Saturday night's race, or whether the weather will prevent same from happening. There's your 20% chance of a scattered shower that was forecast for this afternoon. Unfortunately, at the moment, that shower is scattering directly over the top of this racetrack. But still plenty for us to talk about, starting with a reconfiguration of this Bristol racetrack after a race that didn't meet the expectations of the Speedway's fans in recent times. Speedway owner Bruton Smith brought in a milling machine at the top of the racetrack, ground out that top lane, and what kind of racetrack and race we'll see Saturday night for the fans and drivers, well, that's a bit of the unknown.
So, who decided to take NASCAR's most harrowing, horrifying, hair-raising crapshoot and make it even less predictable? Oh yeah, it was you, the fans, that demanded a new Bristol. Well, now you've got it, even if we're not sure exactly what it is. Be careful what you wish for.
And that is where we begin our discussions of the events that will lead up to Saturday night's 500-lap go here on the world's fastest half mile. Will it be the new old Bristol, or will it be the new Bristol that we've seen in recent years here in East Tennessee? Alan Bestwick with former Bristol winning driver Dale Jarrett and Bristol winning crew chief Andy Petrie. We start with the track. They milled about 2 degrees of banking off the very top lane of the racetrack. Still, though, the progressive banking from the bottom lane to the middle lane of the racetrack. How's it going to change the race we'll see on Saturday night?
Well, I don't think we know, and I don't think many of the drivers really know, but there's only about a 10-foot span up there that they were working in. So there's still plenty of racing room for these drivers and to position their cars out there. So we're not sure what's going to happen. I think as I talk to these drivers, they're more concerned about the entry and exit to these corners. That's been narrowed up a little bit, so that could create some action and make things a little more difficult for them. But they're more concerned, actually, about the new left side tire that they're having to deal with here. A lot of drivers aren't very happy with their race cars.
Yeah, they're not. They're not happy with the way the cars are handling, and I don't know if that's the tire or the track surface. They didn't really do anything to the rest of the track, so you got to assume it's the tire. There's still a lot of room to race. They try to take some of that room away, but there's still a lot of room there. And I think you're going to see them at least 2 wide, maybe 3 wide at times, but you don't have that little cushion at the top to save your car if you get out of trouble. So we might see some of the old Bristol action come back because there's not enough room up there, but I think we're going to see a lot of racing side by side.
That element of the unknown, different tire that the teams are adjusting to, different track configurations slightly in that top lane, all on top of the championship situation with 3 races to go in the chase where there is plenty of pressure to be found. For example, Tony Stewart and Denny Hamlin, with some struggles in recent weeks, have fallen down to where they have to be careful not to drop out of the top 10, the automatic 10 qualifiers that get into the chase. And then the guys who are looking for those 2 places, the wild card spots based on wins, and there are plenty of them that a win Saturday night would be huge for.
Oh, absolutely. You see that 5 wins for Kyle Busch. I think this is probably his best chance to get himself in the chase. He's going to have a couple more before we get to Richmond, including Richmond, but this has got to be his best shot to make the chase and get in. And I mean, he's got such a great record here. I'd be surprised if he doesn't have a really strong run here.
Yeah, and certainly Carl Edwards looking to get that first victory of the season for him. Tony Stewart, who unfortunately had an engine problem last weekend, has gotten closer to that 10th spot or 11th spot, but he hasn't run well here the last few races. His teammate, though, Ryan Newman, seems to find himself in the mix here all the time. So can he get that second victory, which would probably assure him of a spot?
So a lot on the line in Saturday night's 500-lap go here in Thunder Valley. Question is, what starting order will all of those drivers be in when they wave the green flag? And we don't know the answer to that yet because qualifying is on hold for the moment by rain. It has not been postponed yet by NASCAR. They are still in a holding pattern. They say they can start qualifying as late as maybe 30 to 40 minutes from now and still get it done before tonight's NASCAR Nationwide Series race. So we're in a holding pattern for the moment here in Thunder Valley. Literally Thunder Valley at the moment. NASCAR Nationwide Series race is later tonight on ESPN starting at 7 Eastern time. Qualifying for that held earlier before the rain, and a great field lined up for that one tonight. And then tomorrow that Sprint Cup Series race will be over on ABC starting at 7 Eastern time. The action we will see tomorrow night, well, we'll find out how the changes to the track, the tire, and everything else affected, but for sure it'll be an exciting night here in Bristol, Tennessee. Qualifying on hold for the moment as we wait out a little rain shower that's dumped down on the world's fastest half mile.
NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying is brought to you by Kingsford Tailgate Rivalries. Vote at ESPN.com/Kingsford.
Back live, Bristol Motor Speedway, NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying on hold. Rain, thunder, lightning in the area of the speedway. The track has made repeated announcements for the spectators in the grandstands to clear the stands. They have a big message up on the Jumbotron video scoreboard, but they still have some of the track dryers up and attempting to begin drying this surface in hopes that we might get this qualifying session underway when the rain does let up. The stream from that jet dryer catch that tent, Andy? And
yeah, it could have been that, or the wind's picking up a little bit. That thunderstorm can make that wind swirl pretty big in here.
So I'll look at the radar and showing you that there really is not a whole lot of weather out there in this part of the country. But what there is right square over the top of this racetrack.
Yeah, that red stuff, I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
Pretty heavy rain in there.
We'll be glad that we're inside. So the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series under sunny 87-degree temperatures had 2 practice sessions earlier today. And under rules that were first put into play at the beginning of the 2011 season, if qualifying were to rain out, the 43 eligible cars who would be in the race, determined by the rule book, the old top 35 in points and champions and winners and that kind of thing. And then those 43 drivers would be lined up according to their speeds in the first practice session. If it rains out, look who gets the pole.
How about Casey Mears up there with the fastest lap in first practice? And if it rains, it'll really pay off for his team.
Yeah, but Jeff Burton won practice. He had 121 laps put up there.
Yeah, if that would be a good starting spot for Burton. He's not typically a great qualifier, so I'm sure he wouldn't mind for it to rain.
Brad Keselowski's won the last 2 consecutive Sprint Cup races at this racetrack. If it rains out, he would be in the outside of the front row. Kyle Busch, needing that wild card win, would start in the top 10. And the championship leader, Greg Biffle, would start 3rd in this race if qualifying were to rain out. Biffle coming off a huge win last Sunday at Michigan that vaulted him back to the top of the stack where the championship is concerned. You see Jimmy Johnson sliding all the way down to 4th position.
Yeah, having that engine problem last week cost him not just a big win, but it cost him some points too, a lot of them.
So that's the picture coming into this race. As we mentioned a minute ago, that big win at Michigan for Biffle, putting him back atop the stack where the championship is concerned.
This has always been a spectacular racetrack. It's always provided a lot of action.
So many drivers out there have the attitude, either we win or we lose. There's nothing on the line today but the checkered flag.
All right, guys, 2 hour laps here all day long. Let's do what we do best here.
Get a big thumbs up, man. Let's go have some fun today. Could be a good day to pass some race cars.
And we are set to start the Pure Michigan 400.
Green, green, green.
You're clear right there. All clear, bud. All clear.
Traffic's going to be tough all day. Let's do what you can here.
Mark Martin right now, he's been the man to deal with ever since they put him under green here earlier this afternoon.
Oh, trouble up turn number 4. Bobby Labonte right in front of the race leaders. Mark Martin goes around.
Hold on to it, buddy. Nailed the end of that pit wall there to open it.
We got some kind of motor problem here.
We'll go back and go back to the garage and try to undo that cylinder.
Barney, there's a problem for Jeff Gordon. He is off the pace.
Yeah, we've lost the cylinder. 10-4 like a valve spring. Yep. All right, Jeff, just come to us behind the wall. We'll try to fix it so we can run the rest of the time.
And all the other guys right now, they're really going to be nervous about the engines before the day is over.
14 laps to go.
Attaboy. New leader, 48.
Now he's got to deal with Biffle.
Well, come to Papa. Want to get your... Get him, man. You got him. Uh-oh, my motor's laying down. Let's just make sure we finish it, bud.
Got to be kidding me!
From leading the race to headed for the garage with Jimmy Johnson.
We're down to a green-white checker finish.
They're up on their feet, and they know they're going to see something special.
I'll get one more shot at it. He may think he's running the show, but he's not.
Green flag.
Stay tight on him. Everybody else is in line there.
Greg Biffle, Brad Keselowski separated by the car lane. One more shot for Brad. It won't be enough.
You are the man, Greg Biffle.
For the third time, Greg Biffle will win at Michigan International Speedway, his second victory of the season.
You are the man, buddy. That's awesome job.
Well, Greg Biffle has a couple of wins this season. One at Texas Motor Speedway back in April, then the win last Sunday at the Michigan International Speedway. Now 18 wins in his NASCAR Sprint Cup Series season. And the year for Greg Biffle has been one of consistency, running up front, and now the couple of wins. And when he got done with the race last Sunday in Michigan, Greg kind of, I thought, had a little chip on his shoulder in his conversation in the media center after the race. He was talking about how, nobody's talking about us being factors for the championship. Nobody's talking about us being contenders for the title or favorites to the title, and I think we are, but that's okay. Is that a good or not good thing for a guy like that to have that chip on his shoulder?
Well, I think it spells trouble for the rest of the group out there trying to outrun Greg Biffle, especially on racetracks where you have to really go fast, hang it out. Greg Biffle is one of the best. He's proven that where his two wins are. Just look, Texas and Michigan, where it's extremely fast. With 5 of the 10 chase races at mile-and-a-half racetracks, you certainly have to consider them championship contenders. So if he didn't want everybody noticing him, he might have should have taken it a little easier last weekend.
That's what I'm saying. Well, he wants people to notice him, and he has been fast, and he can win. I think I would rather have the pressure off of me, kind of under the radar, Matt Kenseth style, to try to get up there and maybe sneak in on these guys. But now he's won at one of the fastest tracks. If not now, it is the fastest track. So he set a mark that he's going to be a contender in this chase.
Now, if you watch NASCAR racing regularly, this is about the time you expect us to say go to a live interview with Greg Biffle, right? Well, the rain and the thunder and the lightning pounding down behind us, safety first, all of the cameras and the remote equipment that might do that kind of thing. We've sent those folks to shelter to keep them out of the storm and make sure that we don't have anything we don't want to happen unfold on us. So it is raining sideways here at Michigan. 20% chance of a scattered shower? Really? Getting it all here.
Just to watch you watch the rain.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying on hold. Obviously, the weather conditions by that picture not conducive to qualifying. Some of the teams still just finishing up the technical inspection process for qualifying and pushing their cars out to the grid. And hoping they get the chance to make those time trial laps and set the starting field for Saturday night's 500-lapper. And, of course, still to come tonight here, the 250-lapper for the NASCAR Nationwide Series in Thunder Valley. So I started to show you the speeds from the first practice session earlier that, if qualifying is rained out, will be in large measure the basis for setting the starting grid for the race. Let's look a little deeper on in there. Jeff Gordon would come from the 11th spot.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people were planning on having this shower and starting the race by this, but you see...
I wasn't.
Yeah, I know, I wasn't either, but you see Jeff Gordon, he'll start 11th. That's not too bad. And Dale Jr. there in the top 20.
Ryan Newman, you mentioned him a minute ago, back there in the 19th spot.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth looked awfully solid throughout practice, especially in race runs and things. So, even though he may start back a little further than he wanted to, he will be solid in the race.
Tony Stewart, back in 21st, where practice was concerned earlier today. And again, this just from the first practice session. And Carl Edwards is pretty deep in that pack.
I think you'll see a lot of passing. If it starts like this, you're going to see a lot of good cars coming from the back. Carl Edwards, one of them. Even Clint Boyer in 23rd. I would expect him to be a little higher than that if we did get to qualify.
Yeah, he had his teammate there, Brian Vickers, both finished in the top 5 here in the first race.
See Michael McDowell, he started in Phil Parsons' car in 31st if it rains, and that's he's going to run the whole race. He's not going to start in park this week.
Yep. Now, some of the drivers who would not make the field based on the rules, number of qualifying attempts this season and all that kind of thing, are included in this group. You'll see that there are 47 cars here for 43 starting spots, and one that we haven't seen yet.
Wow, look at that. How about Jimmy Johnson, 41st in practice?
Came from the back last week. The lead looked like he was going to win, so why not this week?
And Danica Patrick rounding out the field where practice speeds were concerned earlier as she makes her NASCAR Sprint Cup Series debut here at Bristol.
It looks like Ken Schrader's got him where he wants him too.
Yeah. Tony Stewart said he lined up Danica's schedule for these Sprint Cup races because he wanted her to run all the toughest tracks so she could get used to it. Well, she's got a tough track she's facing here on Saturday night. Talked about Kyle Busch a little bit earlier. Kyle certainly one of the more successful drivers here at Bristol. 5 wins, including 4 in the last 7 events for the Sprint Cup Series here. Of course, Kyle takes the knock for showing his competitive desires on his sleeve quite a bit in a rather edgy way, but Kyle also has a little bit of a softer side that we found out a few weeks ago.
What stairs do we need?
26.
26, I know.
In the garage next to their home in Stanwood, Washington, 8-year-old Kyle Felver loves to help his dad, Tim, work on Kyle's race car, so that on the weekends, Kyle can compete in such races as this one.
What's it like to go really fast?
I said, whoa!
And does it feel really good?
Yeah.
But like so much about Kyle's life, how much longer he'll be able to drive these cars is a maddening medical mystery.
Anybody that knows Kyle on a lot of days would say he's, a perfectly normal 8-year-old. And when you see him at some of his worst times, they're like, this not even the same child.
Doctors say Kyle has suspected mitochondrial disease, a cellular disorder with multiple symptoms. He's endured seizures, wears braces on his feet. He's suffered deterioration of his brain and muscle function.
2010 to 2011 were pretty hard medically on Kyle. He lost about 40% of his muscle neurological function compared to where he was.
My little boy suddenly could not stand, could not move his legs, couldn't feel him.
What was it like to look at him, to know that there was something wrong with your son?
Sad. Thinking that no boy should have that. Not knowing what was happening to him, praying that he would be okay.
Now, this lively and enthusiastic boy is often confined to a wheelchair.
He's embarrassed to have people see him in it. And he just says that he wishes he was like everybody else.
There is no course of treatment that's known to be effective for Kyle's illness, and his prognosis is an unsettling one.
They're saying indeterminate, but definitely shortened lifespan. There's probably no need to make college plans. I just think that he needs to do and experience as much stuff as I can make possible.
Kyle shares a first name with his favorite NASCAR driver, Kyle Busch.
Why is Kyle Busch your favorite driver?
Because Kyle Busch, and Kyle.
I said, what is it about Kyle Busch? And he says, have you watched that guy drive, Dad?
Kyle has dreamed of meeting his hero someday.
Sir, Kyle Felver.
He's at the local track when a remote control version of Kyle Busch's 18 car brings him an envelope.
What is that? We got a little note for you there, Kyle.
I heard it from Kyle. I hear you have a very special wish, and I want to make it come true.
Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch.
How did you feel when you heard you were going to meet Kyle Busch?
Happy.
Days later in Charlotte, Kyle and his sister Kaylee arrive at Kyle Busch Motorsports. They get a friendly welcome from Kyle Busch's wife Samantha before meeting the man himself.
Kyle Busch.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
What's up?
Good.
I'm your tour guide for today. Look at you, man. I like your hat you're sporting there today.
It's from Kyle Busch. He signed it.
I did, yeah?
Yeah, you signed it.
You want to take a tour of the shop first?
Can I hold your hand?
Yeah, man. Come on. Let's go. This is what I raced when I was 16.
16? But
Yeah.
how old are you?
I'm 27 now.
And you go 200 miles per hour.
Yeah.
One of NASCAR's best shows Kyle how cars are built, one driver to another.
All the metal comes from the racks over there. See the racks that have all the metal, the roll bars and stuff?
Yeah.
So they come off of that rack, and then they make them into a kit like that. And that's the car.
Then the two Kyles head outside.
Come on.
For some remote control racing action.
You want to race?
I want to crash you first.
You want to crash me first?
Try.
That didn't take long.
Back inside they go for a head-to-head video game challenge.
I'm going to win.
Are you?
See?
Oh, man.
And the loser buys lunch. Next day, it's off to the racetrack.
We are going to pit road.
He's in the pits with Samantha for qualifying as the cars roar past.
Isn't that awesome? That's quick.
When the 18 car wins the pole,
Go, Busch!
it's time for a trip to Victory Lane. As night falls, young Kyle helps out his new friends on the pit box.
Hey, bud.
As Kyle Busch's driver Jason Leffler competes in the trucks race.
134.
The next day, Kyle and his family are at the Sprint All-Star race. Ending a wish filled with moments.
You flipped me over again.
That make Kyle feel like a winner.
Great stuff. And Kyle Busch hoping for more great stuff, maybe for Kyle, here on Saturday night at Bristol at a racetrack where he has been superb, to say the least.
Yeah, especially since they've reconfigured the racetrack. He's probably, I don't know how we compare the stats to him to the rest of them on the new surface, but it's got to be pretty good.
Yeah, when you think about the all-time greats here, you think about Darrell Waltrip and Rusty Wallace, and you have to mention Kyle Busch. Gets the job done here.
5 for 15 here in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. That's a pretty darn good winning average for any driver at any track. This racetrack is wet when they're supposed to be out there qualifying. Back live, Bristol Motor Speedway, where NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying is supposed to be ongoing to set the starting field for the night race at Bristol tomorrow night. However, a huge downpour, thunder, lightning has hit the world's fastest half mile, and we are certainly in a holding pattern with still tonight's NASCAR Nationwide Series 250-lapper yet to come. The, as I mentioned before, 20% chance of a scattered shower has focused squarely on the area of the speedway, and intensely, I might add. And hopefully it moves through and they can begin the process of drying the track, if not for qualifying, certainly for tonight's race, which comes up at 7 Eastern Time on ESPN. When that race does start, some of the teams in the NASCAR Nationwide Series are going to face a speedway and conditions changed by this weather front that's just moved on through. Here's Sports Science.
Over the course of a 4-hour day-to-night transitional race, track temperatures can drop by more than 60 degrees. This turns up the pressure in the pits as crews must adjust to the changing weather. Track temperatures can start at more than 140 degrees, hotter than any natural temperature ever recorded on Earth. But as temperatures drop, less air is needed to cool the engines. This allows crews to add tape to the front intake, which forces more air to flow over the car. This increases downforce, or the pressure pushing down on the car, by as much as 10%, resulting in improved tire grip and higher cornering speeds. But in cooler, denser air, extra downforce isn't always evenly distributed. More force over the front of the car than the rear causes oversteering, when the rear wheels don't grip as well as the front. Crews counter this by adjusting wedge, the amount of force bearing on the springs of a tire. By distributing more weight to the left rear and right front, tire traction through turns is more even. Adjustments like these may improve performance as temperatures drop, but can also add up to 2 seconds of costly time in a pit stop. At typical race speeds of 175 miles an hour, those 2 seconds translate to a distance of more than 5 NBA basketball courts. But perhaps the most important adjustment a crew can make as the temperature changes is tire pressure. Nearly 90% of the tracks in the NASCAR circuit are asphalt surfaces, which excrete oil and become slick when heated over 100 degrees. But as tracks cool and become less slick, crews make adjustments to tire pressure, which determines how effectively a car sticks to the track in increments as small as ½ pound. If a crew misjudges track conditions and increases or decreases pressure in one of the car's tires by just a single pound, the car's average speed can slow by more than 1 mile an hour. This means over the course of a tire's roughly 80-mile life, that error could translate to more than 12 seconds. And this minor adjustment to weather alone can be the difference between finishing middle of the pack or taking a trip down victory lane. But if executed correctly during a race, this fine-tuning can improve the overall performance of a car, increasing average speeds by more than 5 miles an hour. For ESPN Sports Science, I'm John Brinkus.
A look at day into night temperature and change conditions and how they might affect the race car, like the Sprint Cup Series will face next Sunday night when we race at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, in a race that'll start with the late stages of daylight and end under the lights in prime time. Now, these NASCAR Nationwide Series cars we're looking at on the back straightaway, sitting in the rain, most of them covered, a couple not, did all their practice today in the daylight. And now when they get set to go racing tonight, not only has the temperature changed, the track conditions have changed as well. There, Mr. Champion Crew Chief.
Yeah, they're limited on what they can change because they're impounded over there on the back straightaway. They can make some tire pressure adjustments, and basically that's it. They've probably already made their approved adjustments. And I don't know if they saw this kind of change coming, but they've got a completely different track to start with. And I'm sure this one thing about this track, that it kind of goes back to where it was pretty quickly. But it might be a lot different when they first start the race.
Yeah, the good thing is, besides, it's not a good thing that the rubber's going to get washed off. That will take a little time to get that back down. But the good thing about their practice was it was earlier this morning before the track really heated up. So they did get some time on a cooler racing surface, and they could judge a little bit about what may happen tonight with their race cars. But this does give them a little bit of pause and concerned, as the drivers and crew chiefs, I'm sure, will be talking about what they really need to do to start this race.
Trevor Bayne, the former Daytona 500 winner, the Knoxville, Tennessee area native, starts on pole for that race tonight with Joey Logano alongside him. That comes up at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Hopefully the rain's gone by then, and we get the track drawing underway shortly. Sprint Cup Series qualifying on hold due to weather. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying delayed by weather here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Don't forget, coming up at 7 Eastern time, the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Going to go 250 laps here in Thunder Valley. That's 7 Eastern tonight on ESPN. And the Sprint Cup Series race is tomorrow night, starting at 7 Eastern time, and our coverage on ABC. Who's going to get his hands on that very coveted trophy for winning the night race at Bristol? We find out tomorrow night at the end of 500 laps. Mentioned earlier about Trevor Bayne being on pole for tonight's NASCAR Nationwide Series race with Joey Logano alongside. Here's a look at the front part of the starting grid for tonight's race.
See Justin Allgaier, last week's winner, starting in the third row.
Elliott Sadler and Brad Keselowski there in row 4.
Yeah, Kyle Busch, I've heard, was really fast in practice.
Certainly, man, to keep an eye on. You see that number 60 for Trevor Bayne, a Knoxville area native whose car will carry the familiar orange colors of the University of Tennessee tonight, along with big words across the hood and the panel saying, "We back Pat," honoring and supporting the legendary women's basketball coach at UT, Pat Summitt. Here's Dr. Jerry Punch.
Pat, tell me the story about how you first heard of Trevor Bayne.
Well, we actually was at a donor reception. Pat was at a donor event at Thompson Bowling Arena, or right next door, somewhere close to there. You know, they're just trying to get their lady balls pumped up, and in the meantime, the race was going on, and it was about 2 laps to go.
One of the feel-good stories of the week so far has been young Trevor Bayne.
How about this rookie from Knoxville, Tennessee?
She kind of rallied everybody. She stopped what they were doing and put them around the TV, and they all watched the race.
Everybody that was there was cheering, and a lot of people knew who he was.
Trevor Bayne, at age 20, he's going to win the 53rd Daytona 500.
Am I dreaming right now?
When we won, I guess they all went crazy, and I don't know if they gave more money to the Lady Balls or what for the donor program, but to hear that Pat Summitt, such a legend, was even paying attention, that's huge to me.
He was the kind of guy that, you know, wanted to be the best. A great example.
It takes a lot to impress Pat Summitt, so to have her to say that about me is something that means a lot to me and goes a long ways.
What is We Back Pat?
It's a foundation that supports awareness for Alzheimer's, trying to find that cure, trying to find that treatment, or even if there's just something preventative.
What does it mean to you to have people invested in your foundation? Right now, that's the dearest thing to my heart. It's just been an outpouring of people that want to give to the foundation, which just is very, very special. I think it's important to tell people that may be dealing with what I'm dealing with. Don't stop. Don't just go home and sit down. You keep working and keep doing what you want to do every day. You got to keep living. A lot of people, they want to put it under the rug. I want to put it out there and say, keep on keeping on. We Back Pat on the car, your home track, Tennessee. What would it mean to win at this race on Friday night?
To do it for Pat in her honor, with the car being orange, with maybe Rocky Top playing in the background, with the fans going crazy, that'd be the perfect setting for me.
Gonna be awesome. I want to be right there.
I don't know if she's going to hang out at the pit box or what, but I told her she's more than welcome to go up there on the pit box and tell my team what they need to do. She's got plenty of victories on the basketball court, but to be at her first race and then maybe be able to do some donuts with her car and take her up the victory lane, that'd be pretty special to me.
You know, he's such a great young man with a great heart, and I guarantee you there'll be tears coming down.
Trevor Bayne with We Back Pat on his car, starting on the pole for tonight's NASCAR Nationwide Series race. Again, 7 Eastern Time on ESPN. Sprint Cup Series qualifying, plagued by rain today. Well, a thunder shower and some heavy rain that moved in between the end of NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying and the start of NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying has left things on hold here at Bristol Motor Speedway. NASCAR hasn't called off qualifying, but it's not happening anytime shortly. So why don't we head up to our NASCAR Now studios in Shannon Spake to catch us up on what's been going on. Hi, Shannon.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shannon Spake. This is Ricky Craven. While the folks out at the Bristol Motor Speedway wait out the rain, we'll spend the next 45 minutes getting you ready for night racing Bristol style. It's all coming up next on NASCAR Now.
Welcome to NASCAR Now, presented by John Deere.
All right, the rain putting a damper on things, pun totally intended, out at the Bristol Motor Speedway. If we had $1 for every rain delay we sat through, we'd be some rich folks sitting up here. But it does have an effect on the teams. Who does it affect the most? How does it affect them?
Shannon, I think the most significant penalty for a rain delay or potentially canceling qualifying are the teams that didn't practice very well, and as a result will have a low pick in the pit road order. Pit road on Bristol is a very significant part of the equation. There are only a few good spots. That's why qualifying is so important.
Okay, let's talk about tonight's race, the nationwide race. They've been on the track all day. They put down a lot of rubber on that racetrack. How does it affect things once the race starts?
I think it's a little bit difficult because, you know, we have a new left side tire, so they don't know the limits of that tire. Remember, the track was changed from spring to this race. So from a crew chief's perspective, I think there's a little more of a burden than the drivers, but we'll we'll talk to some folks and figure out where we're headed with this.
Yeah, and one of the first people that we're going to talk to is NASCAR spokesman Kerry Tharp, who joins us live from the Bristol Motor Speedway right now. Kerry, thanks for taking the time. I know you guys are scrambling out there. What can you tell us about NASCAR's plans as of right now?
Well, right now, Shannon and Ricky, we're down here in the Bristol Southeast. You guys are up in the Bristol Northeast, and it's been raining pretty good here for about an hour or so, and we're kind of in a holding pattern. We had a band of thunderstorms came through, and it looks like there might be a little bit coming our way here shortly, and then we should be, I think, in good shape for this evening. So we are kind of in a holding pattern. We haven't made any official announcements on what our plans are going to be for the rest of the evening, but kind of letting this storm pass through, and then we'll lay out the plans for how the rest of the evening should unfold.
Kerry, we ask you guys this question every single time that there's a rain delay. What's your timeline? When do you have to make a decision about qualifying? How long will it take to dry the track? All those types of things.
Well, the decision for qualifying certainly is still kind of up in the air, but it's a little bit less than an hour drive time here at Bristol, and certainly we're chewing into that window very significantly right now. But I think the main thing that we're trying to focus on right now is just making sure that we kind of got everything secure on pit road. We did have a little bit of wind here, and we had some hail here, so we wanted to make sure that everything was secure on pit road and in the garage, and certainly the fans are in good shape. So those are our focuses right now, and then once this storm gets through here, I'd say in the next few minutes we'll make some decisions as far as qualifying and the rest of tonight's schedule.
Kerry, you just touched on the safety aspect of it. We're not very far removed from the Pocono tragedy. So what are you guys doing as far as the fans, as far as alerting them as to what they should do in protecting those guys?
Well, we have been very active with that here today. The track has made numerous announcements. There have been messages on the big screen. There has been social media. There have been other types of forms of communication from the racetrack, making sure the fans are aware of the weather. And it's been very well organized and very well done here today by the racetrack.
Kerry, shifting the attention to the nationwide race tonight, if in fact we're able to get it off on time, will there be a mandatory caution because of the changes in track conditions and the new left side tire? Would you institute a mandatory caution?
Well, I think that remains to be seen, Ricky. Certainly, as you well know, when there is rain in a green racetrack, and as you mentioned, a new tire here for that particular race, that we do like to take a look at having a competition caution to make sure that the teams check their tires and those types of things early in the race. But that decision hasn't been made yet, but certainly with the conditions as they are, that certainly is a good possibility.
Kerry, we appreciate your time. Like I said, I know you guys are scrambling to get things done, so we really appreciate you guys joining us, or you joining us to talk about the situation. And we'll keep our fingers crossed that we see some cars out there very soon.
Okay, very good. Thank you for having us on, and we're going to get some racing in here tonight before the evening's over. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Kerry. And we'll also welcome in at this point Casey Mears, who, as we just heard Kerry say, qualifying is not canceled at this point, but he was fastest in practice. And if it does get canceled, he will be starting on the pole position at the Bristol Motor Speedway on Saturday night. Casey, thank you for joining us. So the car is fast in practice. How do you expect it to race if, in fact, you do start from that #1 spot?
I think it's going to be pretty good. You know, we struggled here in the spring, and Booty and the guys put a lot of focus into coming back here at Bristol, and you know, obviously wanting to improve from where we were, and they did a great job. You know, we were halfway decent in the first practice, and they made some changes right there at the end in qualifying trim to really pick up some speed. And you know, just hats off to them. Really, they've worked hard, and I think either way this place works. Either way it works out, I think you know, we got a good race car, definitely better than the last time we were here, and you know, we're looking forward to it. It's an interesting day, and like I said, either way, it's going to be good for us. If for some reason we get to qualify, you know, I think we got a great car, and if we don't, then you know, hey, we'll take a pole. It's been a long year, and we've done a lot of hard work to get to this point.
And Casey, obviously, this would be a big boost to you. I think the world loves the underdog, and you represent that in this case. A small team, you have done more with less than probably anyone in the garage area. How big a boost would this be if you're able to start on the front row at Bristol?
It would be huge. You know, everybody at Germain Racing and Geico and Ford are the people that really know, you know, what we've done. You know, we don't have a huge budget. I think that you know, Bob Germain's done a great job with you know, making a relationship with Roush where we can get, you know, cars parked in pieces, but we still have to sit down and figure out what to do with them. You know, so it would be a huge boost in the arm for us. You know, whether it's a pole or not, just being able to run that speed. In the first practice, we all know what that dictates. You know, it's getting that late draw is big, and you know, so everybody treats that first practice a lot like qualifying anyway. You know, so to come out on top at the end of that practice was a big boost in the arm for us, and if we can start on the pole, it'd be really big for this program.
All right, Casey, let's talk about, obviously, the track. I mean, that's been a big story, the changes, the configuration. You guys were out on that track practicing. Do you notice any differences from the spring race?
You know, honestly, with where we're running right now, I'm more running middle to bottom when I run my qualifying runs, and even in race trim, I ventured up kind of towards the middle. I didn't even get up towards the top of the black. So, you know, with where they made the adjustment, it's so far up that I haven't noticed a whole lot of difference yet. I think as you get into this race tonight and you see guys trying to get up more towards the top of the fence there in the center of the corner, you'll see, you know, whether or not it's going to work, you know. And if it keeps guys away from running right up against the wall, I think it could make for a little bit better racing, just because when guys run right up against around the wall like that, you kind of get stuck behind them, you know. And if you try to go underneath them, you get real loose, and it makes it difficult to pass. And if they can only run, you know, no higher than the middle, then you can actually kind of treat it more like the old Bristol a little bit maybe, and get into a guy and run him up the track without a threat of, you know, knocking him into the wall because he's running so close. So, you know, I'm real curious. I think tonight, you know, there's going to be a lot of eyes on the TV, you know, seeing how, you know, tonight's race plays out.
Hey, Casey, I want to lean on you to bring some vision to the viewers, the listeners here, on what it's like to race in August in Bristol. And what I'm referring to, and you're a veteran, you've been doing this a long time, with so much on the line, three races to the chase, and everyone goes into this event wanting, obviously, that big Bristol trophy. But how much are you conscious of the people you're around and the circumstances?
You know, I think, you know, definitely when it gets closer to, you know, that 10th race, so that 11th race before the chase, you focus on that a little bit more. But it's in the back of your mind, you know, for sure. I mean, you know that, you know, this is a real fast-paced racetrack. It's easy to slip up just a little bit and get into somebody. And, you know, when you think about the points guys, it could alter their whole chase circumstances pretty severely. But, you know, in a lot of ways, you know, a guy in my position is really in the better position. You never want to be one of those guys that causes an issue for him. But at the same time, you know, I think they got more to worry about than you do. So, in some ways, it can almost give you an advantage during the race. You know, when you know a guy's got something really on the line, and maybe he's got to be a little conservative just so he doesn't make a mistake.
Hey, Casey.
You can maybe take advantage of that.
Hey, Casey, I don't mean to interrupt you, but Shannon wants to give you some good news.
Yeah, the voice is inside my head, and that would be my producer, just told me that qualifying is canceled, so you will officially lead the field to green on Saturday night.
Congratulations.
What does that sound like?
That's awesome. It's the best interruption. Best interruption I've ever had.
I figured you need to know that.
Well, it's huge. It's a big boost in the arm for this team, and just excited. You know, these boys have worked hard, and it's a great what a great start to Bristol. You get a good pit stall, and it's just awesome. Real proud of the guys. Everybody at Geico's been real supportive. They've been with this team for quite a while. They've put in a lot of effort as well. I think a lot of sweat equity on their end too. You know, watching this program grow, and you know, want to thank them and Bob Germain. It's a big day for us.
Well, congratulations, Casey. Thanks for joining us. I know you're probably going to have a lot of media to do at this point.
Awesome.
So go take care of that, and good luck tomorrow night.
All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate it.
So moving along, let's talk about teammates in racing. Of course, it's all stemmed from Michigan. We talk about it every year, and now thanks to Dale Jr. and this move last week at Michigan, then Jeff Gordon's comments after the move, we are talking about teammates in racing and whether they exist. Jeff and Jr. were asked about it today, and this is what they had to say.
So the f***ing 88, he can thank me later for not wrecking it. Just that was f***ing stupid. What's Jeff's problem now? His comments were he's mad and he should have wrecked you. Wrecked me?
I try not to do anything foolish, but you got to go. And I felt like I was just doing what I was supposed to be doing. I know it was frustrating for him, and I can understand that. I've been on the end of that, and I don't fault him for being upset if he thought I did something wrong.
He went in there, did what he had to do. That's fine. I was mad, but I got over it fast. I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal. What became a little bit bigger deal is some of the way that the messages got misconstrued. No, I get fired up, man. I say things all the time. I guess you guys just don't air it and listen to it when it's not towards Junior.
I respect the hell out of Jeff. I know exactly what he's done for this sport. I know what it means to the company I drive for. I know he's got, seniority, and I try to be an asset to his program as much as I can. And I know it doesn't look like it at times, but, when we're out on the racetrack, we got to run hard.
Okay, I can tell you from experience, being in Jeff Gordon's pit box on several occasions, he does get fired up on that radio oftentimes.
And I can tell you from experience that the driver's ability to show diplomacy goes out the window at about 200 miles an hour, okay? That's pure emotion. That's what we heard from Jeff Gordon, was just pure emotion.
So, I mean, realistically, what is the protocol here when we're talking about teammates?
Well, I think that's where this gets really ugly, okay? Because I don't think that this is really an issue. I certainly don't think that Dale Jr. did anything wrong. And I think that every one of these drivers have an obligation to their team, to their sponsors, to their fans, to race the other 42 drivers as though it's me against you. And you have to dismiss any allegiances, okay? Forget that you work for the same company. You owe it to everyone I just mentioned to go out and compete as though it's you against them. And so to that end, I favor Dale Jr.'s view. I understand Jeff's frustration because, as I mentioned, it's very difficult when you're 200 miles an hour into the corner to not react, to not push that mic. Sometimes you wish you didn't. But Jeff cut Dale Jr. a break on the exit of the corner. But it's something that you do a half dozen times a race. Okay, so I think it did get blown out of proportion. And I honestly believe that Jeff probably overreacted a little bit.
I mentioned that this is a question that we ask every single year about teammates in racing. I think Jeff Burton put it best one time. He said, "We're not teammates, we're business partners." Mm-hmm. I love that response.
But I don't even like the suggestion that we're business partners. Obvious, it makes my blood boil. Okay, it flies in the face of competition. The day that I hear one of these drivers suggest on the radio that you owe me something because I'm your teammate is the day that I go off on that particular driver. I have no tolerance for it. Listen, I raced with Jeff and Terry Labonte, and I can tell you that we were all guilty of racing one another harder at times than we probably should have. So you can dismiss the idea that team members do favors for one another. Not in my lifetime, but having said that, I do think that the expectations exist, right? Because you run for the same company, I expected you to drive me a little differently, maybe a little cleaner. Forget it.
You just got fired up.
I don't like it. It flies in the face of competition, and nobody should like it.
Yeah, you got a little fired up right there. Okay, so what we heard from Jeff Gordon, how much of that is the pressure speaking, the pressure that he's under right now to make the chase?
It's a role of reversals. When was Jeff Gordon ever in this position, sort of low man on the totem pole at Hendrick Motorsports, at least in regards to the point standings? And then he's looking at Dale Earnhardt Jr., who has had a very difficult time in the last 3 or 4 years, and he's climbed his way all the way up to contention for the title, very safely, securely in a chase position. So I think it is some of the pressure, and I do think it's a lot of the frustration. I don't think the chemistry between Jeff Gordon and Alan Gustafson is as good as what we're seeing from Dale Jr. and Steve Letarte, and I think there is some frustration.
Another driver who is certainly feeling the pressure is 5-time Bristol winner Kyle Busch, who knows that tomorrow night's race is somewhat of a must-win.
We're horrible at Atlanta, so yeah, there could be a better middle one, but Bristol and Richmond are really good for us. So, we'll just have to do the best we can this week, see if we can't win one and get ourselves in that way. Otherwise, try to run strong at Atlanta, and if not, go to Richmond and do what we can do. It's all we can do.
So we watched that interview, you and I together, the entire interview, the Huller interview, and he seemed very annoyed at times What did you see out of him or hear him say that may indicate where his head is right now?
Well, we've seen this before, so this isn't new to Kyle Busch. I think it's a reflection of his personality. I think that he has a lot of high highs and a lot of low lows, and I think that the burden of responsibility goes to Joe Gibbs, J.D. Gibbs, and specifically his crew chief. So if you look at this, it's about getting yourself focused on the next race and not thinking too far ahead. Obviously, Kyle doesn't like answering about the what ifs and how are you going to handle not making the chase. He's not prepared for that. I think that it really comes down to them as a group focusing on the next race and not deviating from that because they can't afford to misstep. They don't have to win, but a win would go a long way. A win would, in my opinion, secure their spot in the chase. And so Dave Rogers, I think, has quite a bit of pressure and a lot of responsibility in all of this.
Once again, Ricky Craven and I here, NASCAR Now. It's raining out at the Bristol Motor Speedway. The folks out there waiting out the rain. Cup qualifying has been canceled. Casey Mears will start on the pole. We are waiting to hear any update on when they may start track drying preparations. You see that there are no jet dryers out on the track as of now, but it's a short track. It dries very quickly, as we heard Kerry Tharp a little earlier tell us. I think he said something like an hour was the time. They've taken all precautions out there at the Bristol Motor Speedway to keep the fans safe using social media. And like I said, Casey Mears will start on the pole as Cup qualifying is canceled out at the Bristol Motor Speedway. So still to come on NASCAR Now, the old Bristol or new old Bristol. Do you know what I just said?
No, but I'll work with you.
Okay, the track configuration, will it result in better racing? Ricky will weigh in. Plus the Blue Deuce and Bristol, they go together, well, like peas and carrots. That was way too easy. We'll hear what Brad Keselowski has to say about potentially driving that 2-car back to victory lane. And Elliott Sadler calls Bristol heaven on earth. We'll catch up with him a little later.
Road coverage is brought to you by Pennzoil.
So our road coverage takes us to Bristol. Tune in to ESPN right after NASCAR Now or whenever they get the track dry. For the Nationwide Series, Trevor Bayne leads the field to green. Ricky and I will then be back tomorrow, noon Eastern, right here on ESPN2. We'll get you ready for the Cup race at 7 Eastern on ABC.
The world's last great Coliseum here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Elliott Sadler has been extremely fast.
Sadler is now the leader. Second win of the Nationwide Series for Elliott Sadler.
Hell yeah! What a great day. This is Bristol. I wanted this one worse than anything because I love this racetrack so much.
Your mama's here for this one, man. That's awesome.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. After what I've been through the last couple of years in racing, this damn sure feels good.
So when you ask Elliott Sadler to name his favorite racetrack, you can almost guarantee you'll hear one word: Bristol. Elliott Sadler joins us now from his version of heaven on earth. Elliott, thanks for joining us, waiting out the rain right now. Back in March when you won that race, the decision to stay out with 36 to go, that was something that you admitted afterwards you doubted. Luke Lambert came over the radio. He calmed your nerves. How did that moment and the win affect the way your relationship has evolved with Luke this season?
Well, I tell you what, I've just built up a lot of trust in Luke. He's done such a great job of making the right calls, making great adjustments to the race car as the race goes on. And, you know, when I was worried about guys with new tires and worried about who had 2 tires and 4 tires and everything behind me, he just reminded me that, hey, you've done this before. I was in the grandstands and watched you do this with the 21 car and the Wood Brothers a couple years ago. You know, let's go out there and make it happen again. And Bristol has just become a place that track position is so important. So Luke made a good call. We took a chance and took a gamble, and it definitely paid off for us.
Hey, Elliott, Ricky Craven, I'm curious about the new tire, the changes to the track, and how any of that might affect you tonight.
Well, I tell you what, Ricky, they've actually made it harder to pass. Taking away that top groove is giving us less room on the racetrack to pass and make maneuvers. So I think this race, this fall race, is actually going to be more important for track position than even what we have here in the spring. Because even when a car ran up top against the wall, you could use the middle of the track to make passes. And now since that top groove is kind of gone for right now, the top of the track is kind of 3/4 of the way up. So you really got to get your car to run around the bottom that, really, really good when your car usually gets tight down there. So you're going to see all types of different pitch strategy tonight in the race and tomorrow night, of course, for the Sprint Cup Series race. But, we got to be on our P's and Q's, take care of our gas, take care of our tires, and hopefully make the right call at the right time.
Elliott, I want to follow up with a big picture question. You're in a really good position with the point standings. You've done a great job battling back. At what point do you switch to defense? Now, I don't want a vanilla answer here. I know that you're going to go for wins, and you got 4 of them this year. Great job. But at what point might you say, hey, I'm just going to protect myself and win this championship?
Well, I think it's, that's a really good question, Ricky, and I wish I had a black and white answer for you, but I think it's more situational racing and who I'm racing around. And I'll give you an example. Last week, racing with some of the guys that we were racing against, like with the 22 car with Jacques Villeneuve and being on a road course, certain people you really don't push the issue with. You just kind of take what you got and get the most points you can, because gaining 1 point is not worth losing 15. But when we come to a track like Bristol, I'm here to win the race, and I feel like we're racing against people that's going to give me respect, and I'm going to give them respect, and, you race each other how you want to be raced, and we'll go from there. But, we have a lot of fun the 4 times that we've been to victory lane so far this year, and we're going to make that happen. If we get ourselves in trouble or a lap down or in a situation where we have to take a finish and whatever it gives us, we'll take it. But if we got a chance to win the doggone race, we're going to go win the race, because at the end of the day, that's why we race, is to try to get those trophies.
That's good info.
I don't think that was vanilla.
No,
I think
that was
pretty
great.
good.
That was what I was hoping for.
All right, Elliott. Well, Elliott Sadler, our points leader in the Nationwide Series and defending Bristol winner, thank you for joining us here this evening.
All right, you guys get ready for a wild race. It's with less racing room at Bristol, who knows what's going to happen.
We cannot wait to watch it. Have fun out there.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
I saw you slip. I hope Matt ain't mad at me. I just gave him a little donut.
If it continues, I'm going to have to let him go, so I'm burning that right here off.
Brad Keselowski rolls out of turn 4, back to the line. Still a 6-car length lead over Matt Kenseth here.
You're clear. 5 back.
Brad Keselowski is going to win for the 2nd straight time here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yeah! Great job, Paul. Great job, everybody. 2 teams. Best race. Heck of a job today, and proud of everybody on this team. Awesome car. Yeah!
Let's talk about that Blue Deuce. It's got a new look this weekend, and it is cool with a capital C. Check it out. That is a throwback to Rusty Wallace's number 2 car. You raced against that car, Ricky.
Let me tell you, I followed that car a lot at Bristol along with everyone else.
Oh, yeah, it was fast at Bristol. Jim Noble caught up with Keselowski last night.
Well, I'm here with the past and the present of the number 2 car as Brad Keselowski and Penske Racing pays tribute to Rusty Wallace and your election to the Hall of Fame. Let me start with that paint scheme. You've gotten a good look at it. How did you feel when you saw that thing come around the track, and how do you think you're going to feel on Saturday night?
Well, I had no idea what paint scheme it was going to be, and when I saw that paint scheme come around, I said, I know exactly what that is. That was the 50th win paint scheme, and it means a lot to me. It really does, because that was an emotional night. I'll never forget as long as I live, and to see Brad out there running, that paint scheme's going to be exciting. And one of the reasons it's going to be so exciting because he's been winning here. He's been kicking everybody's butt, and so I know that car is going to be up front, and it's going to be fun to watch it.
Brad, any pressure carrying around the Rusty Wallace name on your back deck lid?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great car, and there's pressure every week here in Cup. But, I think coming to Bristol and knowing that we have a shot at the weekend sweep and that we've been fortunate enough to win 2 races here, there's definitely a lot of pressure. And then you add, the Rusty part to it, and hopefully being able to carry the old Blue Deuce scheme back into victory lane, and that adds on to it. But I think my team's ready for that pressure. It's good. We got the chase coming up. That's going to be a lot of pressure, so we might as well get us a little dose of it early on.
You got a sneak peek at this track Wednesday night during the truck race. What did you learn, and what do you expect to carry over into Saturday night in the Cup race?
Well, there's no doubt the track is a little bit different, and we're all trying to get our feel for that. But I don't think we're going to know until about halfway through the Cup race come Saturday whether or not it's drastically different. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Rusty, I know that, Brad's so good here. You were so good here. Does he have a little bit of your racing DNA when it comes to Bristol?
I think it's I do a little bit, only because he grew up in the short tracks. He grew up in the Midwest, and the Midwest racing is real special to me, and I think we both appreciate that. And I watch his driving style. He's got a real aggressive driving style. He really cares about his car. He works on his car hard. He gives good feedback, and that's what I prided myself into doing. So, yeah, I see a lot of similarities when it comes to that.
Still to come on NASCAR Now, it's been 3 months since reigning nationwide champ Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has made his way to victory lane, and we'll catch up with him next.
This is NASCAR Now, presented by John Deere. Welcome back to NASCAR Now, presented by John Deere.
Busy weekend for Danica Patrick, who's making her Cup debut at Bristol, as well as her 3rd nationwide start at the track. It's been a tough day. In nationwide qualifying, she spun on the first lap, but she did talk about Bristol earlier in the day.
I've liked Bristol since the first time I came here. I think it's a fun racetrack with all the banking, and I've enjoyed it since the beginning. So hopefully the fans like what they're seeing. You're definitely going to be, trying to get to the bottom for sure. We'll see how that goes. I feel like the setup of the car will be very similar. I don't remember running up high in practice and setting the car up there, so maybe that was my problem.
Patrick hasn't fared well when pulling double duty this season. At Daytona, she finished 38th in both the nationwide and Cup events and has not finished better than 30th in any of her 3 Cup starts this season. She did finish just outside the top 10 at both Darlington and Charlotte in the nationwide series.
Boy, he is all over. Oh, no, he's going to go around. A little too aggressive as he tried to give the 22 a bit of a nudge, and it cost Stenhouse dearly.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. joining us now on the phone. We have to talk on the phone, obviously, because our cameras are not working due to the lightning and the rain out there at Bristol. But Ricky, we just showed some highlights from last weekend's race in Montreal. Obviously not the finish you were looking for, but 12th is still a solid finish. You finished 4th at Watkins Glen the weekend before. How would you grade yourself on those 2 road courses?
Well, I think we fared better than we have in the past. Obviously a top 5 is really strong for us at Watkins Glen, and contending for a win at Montreal. I don't think we ever would have guessed that would have happened. So I think all in all, I would give it a A+, but definitely room for improvement still, and just glad those are out of the way. Now we can go race.
Ricky Craven here. Compare your team and yourself right now compared to a year ago at this time. Obviously, you have the championship under your belt, but compare where you're at and your potential.
I think our potential is a lot stronger today than it was this time last year. I think obviously winning the championship last year brought a lot of confidence, and then really how we've been running as of late. I feel like we're in championship form. We're ready to go gain these points back that we've lost, and I think we can do it. I think we can go fight for this championship, and it's going to be tough. The guys aren't going to give us the points. We're going to have to go out and get them, and that starts tonight at Bristol.
Hey, Ricky, thanks for joining us. Good luck tonight. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. rolls off 5th at Bristol Motor Speedway. Once the rain stops and the race does get underway. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. You'll see us on the top in our NOS Energy Drink Mustang, so hopefully that'll be the fast line.
We'll be looking for it.
Thanks, Ricky. So our folks out there, our ESPN folks, have been patiently waiting for the rain to stop, and we're going to head out to the track right now. Nicole Briscoe is going to have the latest, all the updates as we welcome her in. Nicole?
Patiently, have you met the guys I'm with in the pit studio? I have Rusty Wallace, Ray Everett, and Brad Doherty. Are you kidding me? Patient? We are very patiently, as Shannon said, waiting the start of tonight's race for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. We've just found out driver intros will go ahead in about 10 minutes here from Bristol Motor Speedway. Thunder Valley literally became Thunder Valley a little bit earlier as a big thunderstorm moved through. We're optimistic, though, that we will go racing tonight. 250 laps from Bristol Motor Speedway. It is still slightly drizzling at the track, but it's a good situation here. It's a short track, and it doesn't take that long to dry this place. So, as Shannon said, we're being optimistic and patient. Hi, hello, welcome inside the pit studio. The impact of this rain, though, just adds another element of an unknown to what we have. This is a newly configured track we're dealing with here.
Well, you hit the nail on the head right there. I
We
mean,
don't know.
Nobody knows. They really don't. And this racetrack's going to be fast. There's no doubt about that. But they did grind that top lane. Nobody's really run up there much, and they are going to run up there late in this race, I do believe. But when you set up during the day, you got all the rubber on the racetrack, and your car's prepared, and it's handling really good, and all of a sudden you get hard rains like we had. We didn't get just a little rain. We got really hard rain, and when you get really hard rain, there is absolutely no rubber. That's when the cars are slipping and sliding around.
We just heard Ricky Stenhouse say, you'll see me in the top lane. You'll see me up high.
Yeah.
Is he still going to be able to do that? Are the rest of these drivers still going to be able to do that?
Yeah,
now that the rubber's
it was kind of
gone?
interesting him saying that. Now, he did in practice most of the day stay up top and run around the higher groove of the racetrack, which most people have not been able to do because it's so slick. So I think once the race goes, we get a little rubber down, he will venture up there. But there's so many unknowns, and with this rain, that notebook's been washed clean again.
You've been in this situation many, many, many times as a crew chief. What do you have to worry about when you're in this role heading into a race like this?
Well, they're talking about the unknowns, but the one known is when it rains that hard and washes the rubber off the track, it's going to make the car tighter. And with these nationwide cars, they already don't have a lot of power. There's going to be guys freeing those cars up, and it's a really short race. We're talking about one pit stop, maybe two. You're not going to get a lot of chances to fix that car, so you'll see these guys trying to get those cars freed up pretty quick.
Needless to say, we have a lot to talk about when we come back at 7 o'clock, top of the hour, over on ESPN. It's NASCAR Countdown. We will be getting you ready for 250 laps here from Bristol Motor Speedway. I'm excited. Are you?
I'm pumped up.
Absolutely.
I'm jacked up.
Jacked up?
I'm ready.
Shannon, back to you.
Are ready too, Nicole, and it's not raining here at the other Bristol, so that's good news. Still to come, all eyes were on the truck race Wednesday to see the new configuration. We'll show you what it looked like.
NASCAR Now is presented by the all-new, all-powerful John Deere Gator RSX 850i. Lug Notes is brought to you by the all-new, all-powerful John Deere Gator RSX 850i.
Here are a few notes. Now, Richard Childress Racing is appealing the penalties handed down to Paul Menard's team. Those penalties stem from intentionally modifying frame rails on the car. And NASCAR has said that the rear housing devices at Hendrick Motorsports uses are legal. The controversy stemmed from comments made by Brad Keselowski.
I do know Brad pretty well. Brad's a really good guy. He has a pretty good heart, and he's a really great race car driver. And I wish he'd concentrate on that. I think he likes to talk a lot, but I think his true skill his true skills shine on the racetrack, not really behind the microphone.
I'm not all that concerned. I mean, he's a very strong driver, a very strong team, and one of 12 that will be in the chase that we need to worry about. So, there's been a lot of discussion during the week, and certainly coming from his post-race interviews, and everybody's entitled to an opinion, but I think you need to have your facts straight and understand, what's going on.
Drama building, and the chase hasn't even started yet. We'll hear more from Junior on Brad K tomorrow on NASCAR Now. Special time, noon Eastern, right here on ESPN2. Carl Edwards, Marcus Ambrose, and Clint Boyer will join us. Both Ricky and I will be back as well. Now, the truck drivers were the first to hit the new Bristol track Wednesday night, and it was the Timothy Peters show. Peters led every lap on the way to his second win of the year, but all eyes were on how the track configuration, which took place after the spring race, would affect things. Some drivers not optimistic.
I think it's terrible. That's about it. Right now, the M&M's Camry seems fast, seems like it's driving well. It's just a matter of track position and getting yourself up front, because you won't be able to pass.
Is there a specific point in the race Saturday where we're going to learn about these changes and how it affects?
I have no doubt. It's going to be exactly on lap 236 is going to be the lap where you're going to notice it. Not a lap before, not a lap after. It's exactly going to be on 236. I promise that.
Totally do it.
Rocket science, dude. All right, I got to go. I got to do some production.
236. I got that written down, okay?
Oh, that's classic Tony Stewart.
Okay, so let's talk about qualifying being rained out. The thing that stands out to me most is Jimmy Johnson starting 37th tomorrow night. What does he have in store for him?
Well, anytime that you start that far back, you need to communicate with your spotter and say, look, here's what I need. I need some help. And anytime I went to Bristol, before the race, I'd get together with my spotter and say, you stay 10 cars ahead, okay? Because you're limited to what you can see inside that car. Small track, a lot of banking. You operate out of this part of the windshield. It's very difficult to come from that far back without tearing up the race car. Having said that, this is a championship driver, team, pit crew. A little bit of a penalty with their pit road selection, but they'll battle their way forward.
And watch out for lap 236.
In that.
Okay, so we had Elliott Sadler, we had Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the show. They both sounded very excited about getting out on the track this evening in the nationwide race. What do you expect to see?
I think it's going to be very similar to what we've seen at Bristol. And regardless of what configuration, this racetrack rewards drivers who are aggressive with the right pedal. If you're aggressive, if you take the racetrack with authority, you typically end out on top. And you can't be cautious. You can't be afraid not to use the bumper, not to the degree that you send a car into the wall and cause a caution. But if you think too much about it and if you're too careful at this track, you end up on a hook. You end up one of the DNFs. And so I think that's the secret. Regardless, I don't think it's going to be that much different.
Old track, new track. Bristol is exciting any way you slice it. We cannot wait. Ricky and I, we're going to be at dinner watching the race.
Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it. You can tune into ESPN immediately after NASCAR Now. Nicole Briscoe and the folks out there will get you ready for the race. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow at noon right here on NASCAR Now.